Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our AEW Double or Nothing predictions video. So, it's basically going to do predictions, really, kind of what it says on the tin. So, I'm going to run through the card and give you my predictions for the matches and any of the little tidbits which I think of. I've got the list of the card here, which I've pulled off the internet. So obviously, I don't know the order of the cards. So I'm just going to run down as I've got it, from the internet, really. So, okay, so the first match, not the first match on the card, but the first on the list is presumably going to be the main event. I know Adam Page doesn't really do main events because he's not really a world championship caliber athlete, but we've got Hangman Adam Page against CM Punk. So, for the AEW World Championship, I can't see any other result than CM Punk winning, really, to be honest. It's just, yeah, I mean, for AEW, I can't see any other direction that they can go, really. I mean, Adam Page just is really very underwhelming as a world champion. He's not really. I mean, he's gone, basically, he started off, quite well, quite on fire with the Kenny Omega thing, looked really good. And he's just kind of like, basically kind of gone down and down since there, really. So I think for AEW, it's a no-brainer, really. I can't see any scenario where Punk don't win the title, really. And if that does happen, it's going to be a disaster. So it's going to be a good, probably be a good match, actually. I mean, Adam Page, for all his faults as not being a championship caliber guy and not being very charismatic and not really being, got a good look or, looking like mean or anything. What he does do a decent match, so it should be a good match. But anyway, so the result is CM Punk winning the AEW World Championship. Okay, so the next matchup, I've got Thunder Rosa against Serena Deeb for the AEW Women's Championship. So again, this is a bit of a toughie, this one, but I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa. I personally wouldn't mind seeing Serena Deeb as the champion. I think she's really got it all, but I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa. I think they're going to stick with Thunder Rosa. And I think also the fact is that Thunder Rosa is a face champion. They don't have many strong face women. So I feel like Thunder Rosa will win will defend the title. I think we're going to see maybe, I'm not sure if we're going to see Britt Baker again or something, but yeah. But as I say, I think it will be Thunder Rosa. But if Serena Deeb wins, I'd be very happy with that result. I just don't think they're going to go in that direction. So, but we'll see. Next up, or next on the list actually, is the AEW Tag Team Championship between the Jurassic Express, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, and Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. This is a bit of a tricky one, because I don't really think any of these teams are really in the top echelon of AEW, really. I think they're kind of mid-card teams, really. Jungle Boy hasn't been lighting up the world, really, in single or tag team, really. Quite like Luchasaurus, but I just think that Jungle Boy's been another one of those underwhelming guys, really, and he's not a pillar, he's a pillow. People go to sleep and he's on. So I can see the titles changing hand here, though, and I was thinking about it, and I think they're going to go with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I think they've been in AEW kind of for a while. Powerhouse Hobbs is kind of a homegrown talent. I think it'll be a bit of a quick, could be a bit of a crazy finish. I don't think they'll pin the Jurassic Express, though. I think they'll probably pin Swerve or someone like that, to kind of protect the Jurassic Express, really. But I just think that we need to move this title on, and then maybe somebody big can come in and challenge Starks and Hobbs. I think it's going to be the combat, the Blackpool Combat Club hopefully of Moxley and Danielson, and not really useless, hopefully. But that's what I'm thinking, really, or maybe even FTR. I mean, that's another good option. Take all the titles. So anyway, I think it makes sense, Starks and Hobbs, because you're getting those guys over, and they kind of feel like AEW guys, really. Whereas Swerve and Keith Lee seem like WWE ex-WWE guys, and Jurassic, I think, have kind of run out a bit of steam. So Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs to take the World Tag Team titles. Not the best team in AEW, obviously, but some good potential there, really. I mean, Hobbs is a star. Ricky Starks can talk, so yeah, don't have a big problem with that, really. Should be interesting. Give him a shot. Then we have the Owen Hart men's tournament final. Samoa Joe against the little bobblehead, Adam Cole. So again, I'm not sure about this. I think they'll go with Samoa Joe, because one of the reasons is because obviously Britt Baker's obviously going to win the women's Owen Hart Cup. That's kind of obvious, from the start, really, I think. So I don't really know if they'd put the other one on Adam Cole, because they're kind of a couple. I think that'd be a bit too much. Samoa Joe should win this, because he obviously is much better. But you don't know. I mean, they seem to like Adam Cole for some reason, like people who really don't look like stars or whatever. Don't go to gym and stuff. But I think it'd be a good match, because for all Adam Cole's faults, he can do a decent match. He just doesn't look like a star or a champion. So Samoa Joe, I think. But you don't know AEW. You mean that they seem to like Adam Cole, so hopefully they won't give the bobblehead the title. So Samoa Joe for the Owen Hart men's tournament champion. And then we've got the women's champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Ruby Soho. I think this is very obvious. I can't see any scenario where they put it on Ruby Soho at all. I mean, DMD is the darling of AEW and a darling of the management, I think. She hasn't got the title at the moment, so I think they're going to give her the first Owen Hart tournament. I think if there's any match on this card that's absolutely nailed on, maybe another one as well. The women's are obviously all kind of obvious ones, but I think Britt Baker's obviously going to win. I can't see him going Ruby Soho at all. That wouldn't make sense in AEW. So Britt Baker. Then this is I don't know if this is probably not going to be the best match, the next one, but it might be the most interesting match. MJF versus Wardlow. Before I tell you who I think is going to win this match, if it goes ahead, this could be one of the most important matches in AEW history, possibly the most important, because if MJF does turn up, and this is a work, this is one of the best angles ever, because all the sheets have been taking all this in, thinking he's got leaving and he's walked out. If it's a work, it's amazing for AEW, and it means that MJF is in there, and he's going to be a world champion probably very soon, actually. So that's going to be amazing for AEW. But if it's true, and he is leaving, and he isn't, and he's no showing, then the AEW are fucked, because this is the best star they've got. They're their biggest star. So this could go. This is a pivotal moment. I think this match for AEW, if it's there, rock on. You've got the biggest probably the biggest heel in wrestling at the moment. If he isn't here, AEW is in deep trouble because this is their best heel, probably their biggest, maybe the biggest star they've got, probably almost certainly the biggest dynasty star. So anyway, if it does go ahead, personally, I think it is a work, but I thought that about Cody though as well. So I don't know. MGF's going to win this. There you go. Shocker, eh? MGF will win. There'll be a screw job at the end, but he'll win. And then, guess where he's going then? Yeah, world title picture. That'll be interesting, won't it? So let's see what happens. People are going to buy this pay-per-view just to see if MGF turns up. So this, a lot of people criticize AEW and Tony Khan, but if this is a work, this is fucking gold, dynamite, literally. So if it in, oh dear, you're in trouble then. So anyway, so MGF for the win. Then we've got the Anarchy in the Arena, which is kind of false count anywhere, no rules match really. Jericho Appreciation Society against Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club of Moxley and Danielson. So, not a big fan of these matches, if I'm honest, but I'm just giving you my predictions anyway on this. I think it'll be okay. I think the Combat Club and the Kingston team will win because I feel like they're all the stars, and the match doesn't really mean anything, but it gets the Combat Club, keeps them ticking along. They've kind of been undefeated, really, and it's easy to get the pin on the Jericho Society because they've got a couple of guys there that don't mean anything, like the Cool Hand guy and the Stick Insect guy with the beret on. They don't mean that much, really. So I think it's going to be Kingston and the Combat Club. It might be a good match, but not my. I'm not that into these things. I think they're all very much the same, really. But see what happens. Be interesting. So yeah, who's going to get the win? Probably Danielson, but I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting match though. Let's see what happens. And then we have a bit of a tag team dream match. This could be the match, potentially could be the match of the night, actually. The Hardys versus the Young Bucks. Going to be a bit of a surprise here. Feel like the Hardys are going to go over. Feel like the Bucks are going to put the Hardys over. There you are. So I don't think this is the end though. I think there'll be a series of matches, and these are all going to be amazing, aren't they? So I feel like the Hardys will go over this one, but I feel like there's going to be other matches coming up, and probably a ladder match. Hopefully, that'll be amazing. That. So could be wrong, but I don't really see why the Bucks would win the first match. The Hardys need the momentum, and they could even maybe, they could even be in the conversation for titles. When Hobbs and Starks win the title. So here we go. Interesting. So yeah, I like the Hardys to go over here, but I do think we're going to have a series of matches, maybe a couple of matches in a break. I think the ladder match potentially, though, as I say, could be really good. So anyway, that's that. Then we have a 3-man, 6-man tag, or trios if you want to call it that. The House of Black against Death Triangle. I have no idea where they're going to go with this, to be honest, because this booking has been absolutely all over the place for a long time, and just don't really know where they're going to go with this at all. Tricky one to call is this, because I don't really think any of these people are really going anywhere. So I feel like Death Triangle will win. because I feel like they're in the running for the trios champions. So I feel like they're going to get the win. They won't obviously get the pin over Malachi Black. Hopefully not. But I feel like the Death Triangle. I mean, I like both these teams, so I'm going to enjoy the match. But I just don't really think this is going anywhere. Really, and hopefully this will be the blow-off match where they kind of both of the teams move on to something else, and hopefully something a bit more meaningful, really. So yeah, like kind of like the Death Triangle to win this match, probably get the pin over, but I don't think it be Malachi Black, as I say. So yeah, that's that match. Then we had a kind of probably another one of the most predictable matches, really, where Jade Cargill faces Anna Jay for the AEW TBS Championship. I think this is kind of obvious where they're going to go with this. I mean, obviously, Jade's on this big streak. She's fought better people than Anna Jay, and I do like Anna Jay. I think she could be a star in the future, but not really yet. Jade is one of the probably very few women she looks like a star. So Jade's not losing this match to Anna Jay. I'm surprised Anna Jay's in this match. I thought they might have given someone else a shot who was a bit more of a bigger name, but I mean, anything can happen. But I can't see any scenario where Anna Jay wins the title, really, unless they've got a big push coming up for a bit. I don't think that's going to happen, is it? So Jade Cargill for the win, really. TBS, I think this is kind of an obvious one, but we'll see what happens. And then the next one on the list, this is actually the buy-in tag match. Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. So kind of a bit of a comedy match, I think, but good. I mean, good match for the buy-in, really. And I think it's good to get these people, Danhausen and Hook, I mean, on the pay-per-view somewhere, because they are, they're very popular, and I think it's good. I think it's quite good booking this. Obviously, Danhausen and Hook are going to win. I mean, that's very obvious. So that's probably the most obvious one, even more obvious than Jade, really. So obviously, I won't be surprised actually, if Danhausen gets the pin on Sterling. Because obviously they jobbed him out on his first debut match. So I mean, they need to give him something, really. So yeah, this will be a fun match. Don't mean anything, and it's not really a proper match, but it'll be interesting. Good to see Danhausen again, maybe doing some wrestling for a change, and Hook's a good prospect, and Tony Nese as well. I don't mind Tony Nese. So yeah, interesting. So yeah. Danhausen gets the pin on Mark Sterling, I think, on that one. And then another match, which surprised me, this one, because I don't think this was even promoted. This next one, Kyle O'Reilly against Darby Allin. Good match, really really like this match, but never really promoted it. Maybe just thought, oh shit, we've not got Darby Allin on the card here. What do we do now? That's probably our biggest name, biggest pillar, probably after MJF. So, yeah, probably a last minute thing, thinking shit, we fucking missed him off. We better fucking think of a good match. I think it'll be a good match though. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, if they do this right and they don't fuck it up, could be a big star. Could be could even be like, I don't want to say Bret Hart's name, but feels a bit like that to me, tag team guy, very skilled, gets over with his talent, needs to smarten up his gimmick, but that's done everyone in AEW though. So yeah, I think it'd be a good match. Darby Allin, I think, will win because he's the star, but I think Kyle O'Reilly will this could be his coming out match. I mean, he did do really well in the Owen Hart Cup. But I think this could really, even though I think Darby Allin will win the match, I think Kyle O'Reilly will do well. And I think this maybe elevate him to a new level. Really, I mean, let's think about this. Kyle O'Reilly, TNT champion. That sounds all right, doesn't it? Could see him going against Scorpio Sky, and that crowd of people could be very interesting. Not a fan of Scorpio Sky, but that match kind of interests me a bit. So, yeah, Darby Allin for the win. Can't see, and I think they're going to give Kyle O'Reilly a push. I don't think it's going to be over Darby Allin though, because Darby Allin it's time for him to do something a bit more meaningful as well. Really, been kind of lost in the tag team shuffle a bit, and he's in AEW. He's probably one of the top 5 stars in the company. So do something with him. There you go. So yeah, Darby Allin for the win there. And then another match, which actually graves quite a bit of interest for me, really. The American top team of All Ego Ethan Page, very charismatic, great guy. Scorpio Sky, very, very boring guy. And is it Dan Lampy in this? Just have a thought. Oh no, it's Paige Van Zandt, isn't it? Ooh, bloody hell. She's amazing. So yeah, love seeing Paige Van Zandt anywhere really. So yeah. So there's your top team against Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Ty Conti. This is a very weird booked match, really, all over the place, really, because you've got a kind of a heel team in the American top team, really. And then you've got Guevara and Ty Conti pretty much heels, really. Well, fucking really hated anyway by the fans for some reason. And Frankie Kazarian, who's technically a face, so it's a bit all over the place, this match. So, yeah. Again, it's kind of a bit unpredictable, but I want to say that the American top team will win. They're the team. The other one's a bit of a makeshift team. I want to say that Paige Van Zandt might get the pin as well, possibly on this one. I think it's time to, if she's ready, I mean, obviously she's been training. If she's ready, she's potentially the biggest star in AEW on the women's division. The only one that really looks like a star, probably with Jade and maybe Britt Baker. So I think it's time for Paige Van Zandt to, make a move here. So yeah, I like Paige. I presume this is going to be like women on women and men on men. It's not going to be a intergender thing. I don't think, but who knows these days? I don't know. So presumably Paige Van Zandt will get the pin on Ty Conti, which that'll go over in the for the crowd, even though technically Paige Van Zandt's a heel, but everyone hates Ty Conti, so obviously that from me. So yeah, going to be an interesting match. I don't understand weird booking again. Don't understand why 2 heels are teaming with Frankie Kazarian as a face, but still, don't worry about it. But I still think it's going to be a good match. I'm interested to see Paige Van Zandt. Obviously, I love Sammy and Ty Conti. Amazing. Frankie's all right. Scorpio Sky's pretty boring. Ego Page is amazing. So there's instead of Ethan Page, Ego Page. There you go. Change his name a bit. So yeah. So that's the card. There we are. So if you've got some predictions, post it in the comments. Obviously, presumably before the event, and see how you do. But that's my predictions for AEW Double or Nothing 2022. So thanks for listening, and and enjoy the show.